E-commerce startup Meola has raised $2 million in its seed funding round led by TurboStart, which operates as a fund and an accelerator. Launched by 23-year-old Ishita Sawant in January this year, Meola had in March bagged a pre-seed funding round from a clutch of investors including Ranjan Pai of Manipal Education and Sixth Sense Ventures founder and CEO Nikhil Vora, among others. Now, the company plans to deploy these fresh funds towards building its team for the next stage of growth. Joining me now is the founder of the company, Ishita Sawant, to take us through their plans ahead. Ishita, thanks very much for your time here on CNBC TV 18. This is the first time since we're having you here on the show. If you could start by telling us a bit about the company, what you're trying to do differently from the plenty of e-commerce startups in the market already, and what your business model is.
For sure. Thank you so much for having me. So in a nutshell, at Meola, we're curating eco-friendly, sustainable products. And we're focused on Gen Z and young millennials as a consumer base, because we understand that that's a consumer base that cares about the purpose behind every purchasing decision that they make. India has about 80 crore e-commerce users. So we realized that if we really want to create meaningful impact at scale, we need to begin at e-commerce.
Ishita, could you give us a sense of, in the few months since your launch, what the average spend per customer has been like on your platform?
Average order value on the platform is around 1,800 rupees. We see that growing month over month, not because of course, the prices of the products going on, because also customers are now purchasing 2 or 3 products because they've started trusting the platform and loving the brands even more. But yeah, on an average, we see 20% more premium than the commoditized alternatives that are available in your neighborhood shops, etc.
If you could tell us about this $2 million seed funding round that you've raised, how exactly are you hoping to deploy these funds? How many employees do you currently have? How many are you looking to add? Or, how will you use this to expand?
For sure. So the $2 million that we've raised is a part of a seed round. It's been led by an accelerator called TurboStart. We plan to deploy these funds predominantly towards building our loyal customer base on the platform. In addition to that, we're also ramping up our team. We've had a fabulous 15-member team that has got us thus far. And we're over the next quarter looking to grow to about a 50-member team across different functions. We're also investing extensively in our product and technology. We're the only new age platform in India that's actually built their own custom product.
Are you looking to expand beyond the Indian, sort of borders as well? Are there geographical expansion plans you have?
I'm actually in Dubai right now attending GITEX, which is one of the world's largest technology conferences, for this exact reason, because we feel that certain geographies which have similar consumption trends to India, such as the Middle East or Indonesia, Southeast Asia as a region where there's a large Indian diaspora, there's a lot of potential to take a lot of our Indian brands to these geographies.
Ishita, since your launch at the start of the year, could you give us a sense of how many orders you've had on the platform, how many users are on it, and where the GMV currently stands?
So we see around 4 lakh monthly active users on the platform. That number is growing close to 60% month over month. From an orders perspective, we're looking at around 10,000 orders on a monthly basis, again, growing month over month. From a GMV perspective, we're at around $5 million in annualized GMV. From a supply perspective, we're at around 1,800 brands listed on the platform and actively selling, which amount to around 150,000 SKUs currently.
And, to what extent are you hoping to scale these orders, users, and even from a demand and supply point of view? You said you have about 1,800 brands. How many more are you looking to add?
I think from a demand point of view, we're aiming for 10x growth over the next year, faster if possible, but definitely that's the goal and benchmark that we've set for ourselves. This will be enabled, of course, through a good kind of culmination of marketing, advertising, and promotions, as well as product-led growth. From a supply side perspective, I think we've become a lot more assortment-driven now. I think thus far we focused a lot more on bringing on board brands that fit our ethos. given we have a large enough supply now, and we have a large sample size to draw certain conclusions from, we've started kind of analyzing trends, seeing where gray areas are in the industry, and onboarding brands a little bit more tactically and strategically. We're also enabling a couple of international brands to come to India from unexplored geographies. So yeah, that's kind of what we have planned in the supply side.
What are you doing differently? What will be your vision to garner a larger market share in this market? Will there be an offline presence as well sometime in the future?
Sure. So I think with Meola, we're really trying to make sustainability a lot more approachable and attainable. And we're doing this by really bridging the gap between sustainability and lifestyle. Like you rightly mentioned, there are quite a few direct and indirect competitors in the market. I think the edge that we definitely have is that we're able to very effectively communicate the advantage that we bring to our consumers and their families' lives, and the feel-good factor that the consumer has when they feel they're feeling good about the product they use. And yeah, I think, overall, long term, we want to get a lot more brands on the platform, whether they're international or local. And as for offline presence, definitely plans to go offline over the next 12 to 18 months.
Ishita, thanks very much for sharing your thoughts with us here on CNBC TV 18.
So that's Meola's growth strategy going forward. But the battle of the stockbroker